Welcome to the Writer at Work podcast. Ms. Catherine M.H. and Kit Boyer are your co-hosts. They will be bringing you updates on their journey to becoming full-time authors, as well as writing advice, book reviews, and information to help you on your road to authordom. Join these authors as they work on their writing careers.
Welcome to the Writer at Work podcast. I'm Ms. Catherine M.H., and with me, as always, is Kit Boyer. And today we have a process episode for you, and we are talking about accountability. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Okay, so accountability is pretty important. I have discovered more and more how important I believe accountability is, especially for my ADHD side. So I've got quite a bit to say about this one. I'm sure you have stuff to say about it. So I guess I'll start us off with a little bit of how I use it for writing. So for me, I have an accountability group that I meet with once a week. We state what we're going to do for the week, and we give ourselves rewards and consequences. So for me, it's I must donate a bowl of my yarn every time I don't get to my thing. For one of my other people in the group, if they don't get to it, they must decide to donate to a neo-Nazi group. So, yeah. And so they make sure that they are always reaching their goal because they don't want to do that. They do not want to donate to a neo-Nazi group. So for me, my, consequences are a lot less. For them, they really like hardcore consequences, so that works really well. So I also do word sprints and accountability with that. We have like a buddy system, and I will hop onto like a Zoom link or a live reel, and we'll write, and you're with those people. So being around people, even if it's just virtual, keeps me accountable to doing my work and not getting up and dancing around or cleaning the dishes suddenly. This is time for writing, and that's what I'm doing. I've also just recently joined a coaching accountability group. So she's coaching us through a lot of the process for me publishing my book sometime this year. So she sets up steps for me, and I have to complete those steps, not just for myself, but because somebody is waiting for me to complete those steps. And in my ADHD brain, that helps me realize that I need to get that done, and I need to get that done ASAP because somebody else is waiting on it. So that really helps me with that. It's the same with my co-writing. My co-writer is counting on me to finish the first draft and to finish the third draft. So for me, knowing that they're waiting on this puts that pressure for me to get something done more, because I do like a bit of that pressure. Not quite as much as donating to a neo-Nazi group, but I like having a bit of pressure to make sure that I get my work done. What is accountability for you?
Well, you're kind of like external, rooted in other people. Accountability isn't really my jam. I do not prefer it. I prefer spending my time with other people doing critique. I don't really care what they're doing, nor will I hold them accountable. And nor do I want them to judge me or try to hold me accountable in any way. It feels, I've done accountability groups before, and they feel kind of more like a time sink for me, because I only have so much time for writing. And if I'm spending that time telling somebody else about whether or not I've written and what I plan to write, it just feels like I'm wasting time that I could be using on writing, like very limited time, because of the kids and work, and I've got 2 jobs and etc. So I really prefer critique groups. If I'm going to be talking to other people about writing, I want it to be about my specific writing and about their specific writing. But I do understand how it's useful. I think it was really useful for me for networking and feeling like I had a community of people around me who also wrote. If you are looking for accountability groups like that, you can look into NaNo groups. So National Novel Writing Month groups. They are by region, and you can join one near your region. Because of COVID, a lot of groups are meeting virtually over Zoom, and some of them are meeting year-round. So mine is meeting year-round. So I can jump onto the Discord and just chat with them whenever I want, and other people have, advice and sprints and stuff like that. Something that does not work for me also is Zoom. Being on video or whatever video doesn't work for me to write because, I don't know, I must have like some sort of mental health thing about it or something. Like, I don't like being on display, and even if I'm not on video, even if I have my camera and my audio turned off, I still feel like I need to perform normalcy for other people, for them in the group. So I don't feel comfortable writing and getting into my writing. Also, I can't be on Zoom and writing and listening to my kid in the background because he's not in school yet. So it's just not really possible for me to do during the day in a in a regular sort of way. But some things that I have tried in terms of accountability have been personal stuff. So like, I want to write this many words in a day, or I want to write this episode this week or something like that. I've been writing a serial fiction, The Arborist of Asgard, and knowing that I need to push out an episode every week really was a good kind of pressure for me that helped me to stick to the first half of the season. I'm on the second half now, and I really needed to like revamp it a little bit because I changed some of my outline, so I wasn't sticking to it as well. But once I get back on that and I start publishing it again, I will feel that pressure to release every week because people are expecting an episode or something. So that'll be good to get back into. And one other thing, I guess, in terms of accountability is something that I've recently accepted about myself because I have ADHD, is that sometimes I'm going to fall off the train, and that's okay. And it's just part of it. You're always going to fail, and you should never plan not to fail. You should always just accept that you're going to fail at something that you're trying to do and be like, and that's okay. And here's how I'm going to get back on that train if I fall off. So for me, that's been super important.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a cheat with my group because I'm giving up a ball of yarn, but I'm also living at home, so I never get to actually go and donate the yarn. My reward is that I get to buy yarn. So if I have my donation pile, I get to pick one of the balls of yarn that I had to donate, and I get to put it back in my pile.
Oh, nice.
So I don't actually have to spend the money, but yeah, that's my cheat section. So yes, you will. Accountability doesn't mean that you have to 100% do it every time. It's okay. Like, sometimes you have to readjust what goals that you think. And it's a great way, I feel, to learn what you're able to do. Because like I said, we meet every week. So it used to be these really large goals that I had, and then I've learned over time what I could actually get done in a week. And now I can push that maybe just 100 words more this week. And it's really helped me get into this is what I'm capable of doing. And now I can try to up the game or lower the game if I need to for a week.
Yeah. So if you feel like any of this might be good for you, try it out, but don't feel negative pressure. Don't feel like if you fail at it, you're a failure. Everybody fails. Failing is part of the process. It's part of getting better. Think of how babies learn to speak, in our case, English, they are going to say some silly stuff, and they're going to use incorrect grammar, and they're going to make mistakes. But if you point out every time they make a mistake and make them feel bad about it, they're not going to want to talk to you anymore, because they're going to feel like every time they talk, it's a scary, big, high-stakes thing. So just, if you fail, that's okay. That's just part of it. Remember that. Remember that you're improving. Even when you're failing, you're still improving.
Yes.
Oh, actually, something that I did, and I haven't used it yet because I failed at doing anything with Nano this past year. But I do plan on using this thing that I made. I printed out this tree that doesn't have any leaves on it. And it has like roots also going into the ground. So I printed this tree off on several sheets of paper and like stuck it all together, so it's just like one big tree on my wall. And then I printed off and cut out leaves for this tree. And my thought was, for every certain number of words, like every 100 words, I would take a leaf and I would put it on that tree. And then I was like, well, but what if I don't that day write 100 words? Like if I wanted to write 100 words and I didn't, what would I do with that day's leaf? And then I thought a really like motivating for me, I guess, thing to do would be to take that leaf for that specific day and put it on the ground over the roots, and think of it as, I might not have completed my word count today, but that doesn't mean today was a waste. Today is fertilizing the tree. So maybe I read a story instead, or maybe I rested, or maybe I got some chores done around the house that I needed to, so that the next day I would be more capable or more able to do what I needed to do. So I took every day as a success, and I just chalked it up to either being a success in terms of word count or a success in terms of fertilizing that tree. So that might be something that you look into when you create whatever sort of accountability thing you're thinking about. Just how are you going to treat, quote, failure, end quote? How are you going to treat those days when you don't reach the goal? Are you going to, is it more motivating for you to have a harsh consequence, like having to donate to something you really, really don't believe in? Or are you going to have it be more gentle and look at it as not a failure, but rather, compost?
Mm-hmm. I like that tree idea.
Thank you.
And a little accountability tree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty much all I have for accountability. You got anything else?
No, I think that's it for me. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. You can like, subscribe, do the social stuff if you want to. Have a great week, and see you next time.
Bye.